You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and can will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have the present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questionings if you wish. All right. You good, dude?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is Thursday, September 26, 2024. And I am Hio. I was watching a stream and I saw a couple of hours ago that the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case was mentioned on Channel 2. Today is 7 months that he has been missing. If you're not familiar with the case, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers went missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee, February 25th into the 26th, and has not been seen since from his mama's home that she shared with the stepfather. So today, I just kind of want to go over real quick. I'm not going to be on here long. Just a quick interview that they had with Dog the Bounty Hunter, Seth Rogers, and Tony Mathis on Channel 2 today. Let me get over there to that screen. All right. So yeah, it says Middle Tennessee. Thursday marks 7 months since Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. Let's go over this interview first, and then we'll talk a little bit more.
I'm just hoping for a positive outcome from this.
Since February, Seth Rogers has actively searched and advocated for his missing 15-year-old son, Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian went missing from his home in Hendersonville in February and has not been seen since. Earlier this month, Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, and his team joined in on the search for Sebastian.
They bring an investigative team and they bring a legal team. And all of those things are things that were desperately needed.
Dog is also offering a $100,000 reward to anyone with information.
This is not the first rodeo for me finding a missing child.
But Dog and Seth say they have faced online threats that go beyond opinions.
It's really bad. I mean, they have threatened, Seth's family.
What Lesniak is doing is he is issuing cease and desists with a copy of the federal injunctions attached as a warning shot.
The law offices of Joseph Lesniak, representing Seth Rogers, Tony Mathis, and Dog the Bounty Hunter, as well as several other individuals, cites 11 reasons for the cease and desist letter. Some of the examples include the encouragement of false allegations, flooding of false leads, undermining reward credibility, and interference with the search operation. Lesniak says going forward, he recommends social media users explicitly state that they are sharing their opinion, not fact.
We believe that this happened. My opinion is I allegedly, this is what I've heard. Those types of words then clue listeners into, okay, this is not fact. This is somebody's opinions.
Lesniak tells me continued legal action will be dependent on the response of the recipients and what his clients ultimately decide.
We are going to take every single one of these online troublemakers, bullies, or whatever that is, all the way to the woodshed, legally.
If you have any information, you're asked to call Dog's Tip Line, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, TBI, or your local FBI office. Those numbers are on our website at WKRN.com.
Okay. I have a ton of opinions, as well as everybody else that has seen this case. I have a ton of opinions. I have a ton of theories. I have a ton of options and things that it could be, but I'm not going to go over any of that today. Today, I only want to remember that Thursday marks 7 months since Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared from his home. So I don't really want to talk about what my opinions are today. That is for a later date. I have a lot of questions about this interview. taking us to the woodshed, troublemakers. Who does that fall underneath? Particularly, I just have a lot of questions for Dog. But it's now been 7 months since he disappeared. 7 months into their investigation, Sumner County law enforcement officials have not reported any new information, which they have not come out and said anything. He remains at the center of the Amber Alert, with the FBI offering $50,000 reward for information. Joining the search earlier in September has been one of the most recent developments in the case. In an interview with News 2, Chapman called it one of the most horrendous cases of missing children. I'm not sure what the reference is there. As of right now, I can't recall of anybody having any crime being determined in any point at this. Anyway, one of the most horrendous cases of missing children he's ever worked on, adding that he believes increasing the reward will help them find the answers that they've looked for. I'm just hoping for a positive outcome, Seth said at the beginning of the interview. Early on in the investigation, TBI warned against spreading misinformation online. However, as the months have dragged on, the case has been at the center of many social media controversies and rumors, with Seth stating that they've experienced online harassment and have only seen threats increase. They've kind of taken over the airwaves and created a defamation campaign against my client, attorney Joseph Lesniak, who is representing Seth Chapman and others, instead of keeping their eye on the important thing here, which is finding this young man. Seth has continued actively searching for his son since he went missing on February 26th, and still says he has not given up hope, despite the situation being one long nightmare. His searches have been stretched as far as West Tennessee. Many community members have also continued to aid in the search by putting up flyers and holding vigils, as well as other gatherings. In August, a group of people with Sebastian's army gathered outside the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for answers or updates in the investigation. Is that in reference to Betty, to Bullhorn Betty, and the 6 people that were outside of the sheriff's office last month? Not sure. They didn't come out and say anything. We would like to see a PIO just to see some updates. A participant with Sebastian's army told News 2. In the initial days of after Sebastian's disappearance, law enforcement carried out several massive search efforts near his home of Stafford Court and Adelaneville in Kentucky, where trash went from his neighborhood. Neighbors were also asked to check their yards for any signs of the teen, and numerous search warrants were issued, with cell phone data analyzed and other digital evidence searched and documented. Still, those efforts yielded few clues as to Sebastian's whereabouts in March. One possible sighting was reported, which was later deemed to be not him. After announcing the new reward for information in August, the FBI said agents are continuing to provide assistance to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office in the search for Sebastian. Another prayer vigil is expected to be held within the next month, and anyone who has any information that could provide help in finding Sebastian is urged to contact authorities. I find that funny because in the video with Dog just now, she referenced Dog's tip line as the first phone number to call. But tipsters are asked to contact the sheriff's office at this number right here, 615-451-3838, or TBI Find, 1-800-TBI Find. Reported missing on Monday, February 26th from the beach area in Hendersonville. His description is as follows: 5'5" tall, 120 pounds, with dirty blonde hair. Last seen on Monday, February 26th, near Stafford Court, wearing a black sweatshirt and black sweatpants. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation originally issued an endangered child alert for Sebastian on the morning of February 26th, as multiple agencies took to the area to look for him. Based on additional investigative information developed during the search, they issued an Amber Alert for Sebastian on the afternoon of February 27th. An Amber Alert is also issued when there is reasonable belief by law enforcement that an abduction has occurred and the child is in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death. per the Department of Justice. And that's likely due to some of the conditions that Sebastian suffers with. Multiple agencies include the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Tennessee Highway Patrol, Nashville Fire Department, City of Hendersonville's first responders, Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and Shackle Island Volunteer Fire have assisted in the search for Sebastian. If you have seen Sebastian or have any info about his whereabouts, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. That being said, I think that's all the information that has changed in the last, day. It was actually just a couple of hours ago that came out. There's something very interesting that went along with this that I saw. And I'd like to share with you guys real quick, if you'll allow me that. Let's see here. Just 2 days ago. Okay. Let's go over here. I'm going to share this. See, on the bottom, it says, man kidnapped 70 years ago is reunited with his biological mother, or biological brother, rather.
All right, the popularity of DNA-driven genealogy services has led to some headline-grabbing discoveries as people investigating their roots have uncovered family secrets, found long-lost relatives, and even helped solve a cold case. Well, now a curious woman in California may have done all three. 63-year-old Alida Aliquin of Oakland took an online DNA test just for fun back in 2020. It showed she shared 22% of her DNA with a man living on the East Coast. But who was he? Well, earlier this year, the mystery was solved. The man is Alida's long-lost uncle, who had been kidnapped 70 years ago while playing with his brother. Luis Armando Albino was kidnapped from a West Oakland park in 1951 when he was just 6 years old. The family searched for years but never found him. In the intervening decades, Luis joined the Marines. He served in Vietnam. He became a firefighter. The family recently reunited. That's Luis there with his brother, and they are now speaking about their bittersweet family history. News Nation's Nancy Liu joins us live. Nancy, this is an incredible story.
Isn't this insane? 70 years ago. 70 years out of a park. His mother, 92, she passed away without knowing whatever happened to her son. I love the comments down here. But he kept his exact name, didn't want to change it to hide his identity from people looking for him. What? He was 6. No, they changed his name. He's still going by his name given to him by the people who probably unknowingly purchased him from the kidnapper through fake adoption fees. Now, that's got to be completely and 100% somebody's opinion because nobody knows the answer to that right there. It hasn't been revealed from what I've read in the story.
Oh, absolutely incredible, Elizabeth. And there's still so many questions, but this incredible cold case originates here on the West Coast and only recently led to a phenomenal discovery on the East Coast more than 7 decades later. There you see Luis Armando Albino, just 6 years old when he was kidnapped from a park in Oakland in 1951. He was with his 10-year-old brother. Luis is on the right here in that picture. They were finally reunited over the summer. According to the family, Luis lured away in 1951 by a woman who offered him candy, and then that woman flew him to the East Coast where he was raised by a couple as their own son under a different name. Now, back in Oakland,
It makes me wonder if the people down here in this comment right here even finished the video.
biological mother, she never gave up hope, demanding updates from Oakland police until her death in 2005. Finding Luis became a mission for a 63-year-old niece, Alita Aliquin. She took that DNA test, which revealed that match, and she cross-referenced with old photos and newspaper clippings. She tells me her two uncles spent hours and days discussing what happened. Take a listen.
They hugged. It was a very emotional hug. Then
I'd be interested to know if the man remembers being taken from his parents or from his mom, or if he remembers the incident at all. I'd be interested to know that. He may never want to talk about it, you know. I mean, 70 years, that is so. I wouldn't want to. I don't know. Maybe I would want to talk about it. I don't know. Obviously, he went and reunited with his brother, so maybe he will come out with something and talk about it. It's an interesting story.
and they sat down and they talked about that day that he was taken. Well, we've never forgot about him. We've always talked about him. And he did know that he was, quote and unquote, adopted, if you want to put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he knew that they weren't not his biological parents.
Well, there's some of the answer right there.
Now, Luis came out west for a family reunion back in June, and he also visited for 3 weeks in July, mainly spending time with his brother, both of them military veterans. And that visit was his last with his big brother. Roger Albino passed away last month, but according to Alita, he died happier after finally reuniting with Luis. Now, Alita tells me her surviving uncle continues to live under a different name out on the East Coast, and he wants to maintain his privacy. And Elizabeth, there's also no further information about the couple that raised him as their own. Elizabeth?
Yeah, gotta wonder if any authorities are investigating possible crime of kidnapping. Nancy Liu, wow, what a story. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching.
Do you think that they should be investigating that crime of kidnapping after all these years? Oh, that's interesting. If I find anything else interesting on it. Anyway, my basic mode for coming on today was to talk about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So please do me a favor and keep him in your thoughts today. 7 months ago today, Sebastian went missing. So let's try to remember him today, and let's get through this day. Hopefully they'll find him today. Hopefully today will be the day they find him. Catch you guys again soon.